Is there a ninth planet at the edge of the solar system?
Compelling new evidence seems to finally confirm theories about the existence of another large planet beyond Neptune's orbit. Not only would this planet cause a scientific sensation, but Planet 9 could also be tied to the myths and prophecies of our ancestors, who were aware of its periodic appearance. Probably, Planet 9 orbits the Sun with such an unusual orbit that it enters the inner solar system and thus within the range of our telescopes only every few thousand years. If we are to believe Sumerian legends, then something monstrous could happen. A planet that crosses the inner regions of the solar system only every few thousand years would have escaped our attention until now.
Many of you will know Planet 9 also as the mysterious Planet X. In the past, the legends of Sumerian culture mingled with modern research on other unknown planets.
The Sumerians spoke of a celestial body that appears every 3,600 years and then causes chaos. Some modern scientists are convinced that there is a planet beyond Neptune and even beyond the Kuiper belt that takes between 10,000 and 20,000 years to orbit the Sun. Theoretically, such a planet could indeed move in an orbit that brings it closer to the Sun every 3,600 years. How likely is it that there are still unknown planets hiding in our solar system? At a conference held in 2006, a large group of international astronomers decided that Pluto should no longer be included among the main planets. It had long been the ninth planet of the solar system, and since then we have had only 8 main planets. Before Pluto's demotion, there was already talk of another planet, then called Planet 10. After Pluto was demoted to a dwarf planet and a trans-Neptunian object, Planet 10 became Planet 9. Researchers began the search for this last great planet of our solar system because the evidence that it was not just a legend but a scientific fact was increasingly numerous. It is very likely that this planet, long considered a myth, really exists. Trans-Neptunian objects are going crazy.
How exciting! For a long time, Planet 9 or Planet X was just an idea.
The debate over the existence of another member of our solar system has been going on for several decades. Astronomers have often been convinced of the existence of other planets in our solar system. A famous 19th-century example is planet Vulcan, which was once thought to be in Mercury's orbit. This search was triggered by anomalies in Mercury's orbit. In fact, several planets have been discovered in this way. They stood out because of deviations in the normal orbits of other planets, which occur when the gravitational pull of the yet-to-be-discovered planet affects the orbit of the known planet.
Pluto, for example, was discovered after a long search.
Modern research on Planet 9 began seriously with the discovery of Sedna in 2003, a trans-Neptunian object with such an unusual and highly eccentric orbit, far outside Neptune's sphere, that it sparked speculation. Sedna's orbital parameters are so extreme that they cannot be fully explained by the gravitational influences of known planets. This revived old ideas that there exists a massive body yet to be discovered well beyond Neptune. The hypothesis of Planet 9 was further strengthened by the observation of other trans-Neptunian objects with unusual orbital characteristics. The high orbital inclinations and strange clustering of orbital parameters indicated a common cause: another planet. It is indeed the best and most consistent explanation for the clustering of orbital anomalies in the Kuiper belt. Scientists convinced of Planet 9's existence have shown that not only the orbital properties of objects like Sedna but also other anomalies in the outer solar system can be explained by the presence of another large mass. Now you may be wondering what the estimated mass of Planet 9 would be. Scientists have calculated the mass based on the gravitational anomalies observed in the Kuiper belt. The result was that the planet has a size between Earth and Neptune. Despite intensive searches with some of the world's most advanced telescopes, Planet 9 has remained invisible. Some scientists have thus begun looking for alternative explanations for the strange processes beyond Neptune. Several valid explanations have emerged that explain the orbital anomalies of dwarf planets and other bodies without the influence of a previously unknown planetary mass. The observed orbital peculiarities can also be explained by statistical distortions or the gravitational effects of other smaller objects in the Kuiper belt. There may also be an influence from the Oort cloud, which lies far beyond the outer edges of the actual solar system. Dr. Mike Brown, does it really exist?
Would you believe me if I told you that the existence of Planet 9 has been demonstrated by scientists?
The researcher who managed to prove it is Dr. Mike Brown from the California Institute of Technology. Dr. Brown became famous for the discovery of the minor planet Eris in the Kuiper belt. The appearance of this planet, almost as large as Pluto, fueled the debate over what is a true planet and what is not. This cost Pluto its status as a planet, which is why Brown is jokingly called the Pluto killer in specialist circles. Mike Brown is considered a specialist in trans-Neptunian objects and, together with his colleague Konstantin Batygin, has also studied the possible existence of another much larger planet. He probably knows the orbits of minor planets and their orbital characteristics better than any other scientist and is convinced of the existence of Planet 9. He and Konstantin Batygin published the results of their initial research in 2016 and demonstrated that the highly eccentric and similarly aligned orbits of a number of trans-Neptunian objects clearly indicate the existence of another large planet. In their paper, the two explained that Planet 9 must have a mass about 10 times that of Earth and orbits at an average distance about 20 times greater than Neptune's distance from the Sun. Due to this enormous distance, it is estimated that a complete orbit of Planet 9 takes between 10,000 and 20,000 years, with the planet spending many thousands of years far out in space before re-entering the Solar System on its elliptical orbit and thus into the view of our telescopes.
Although Brown and Batygin's research attracted great attention, concrete evidence of Planet 9's existence was lacking for a long time. Experts confirmed that the planet's extremely great distance and the associated weak reflection of light make it difficult to detect even with current telescopes. Simply put, this means that our technology may not yet be good enough to detect the planet orbiting the Sun in near total darkness. Brown and Batygin, however, continued to work. In February 2024, Mike Brown once again published the latest results of his study and further narrowed down the current position of Planet 9. Using data from the Pan-STARRS system, his team managed to rule out about 78% of the possible positions of Planet 9 previously calculated by other studies. The new estimates show that Planet 9 could have a semi-major axis of about 500 astronomical units and a mass of about 6.6 Earth masses. When it will be visible, if it really exists, is still an open question. Nibiru brings devastation and chaos every 3,600 years. I bet you've heard of the legendary planet Nibiru, often referred to as Planet X in science fiction literature and later often equated with the ninth planet of astronomy. Nibiru is a story taken from ancient Sumerian texts that was reinterpreted by author Zecharia Sitchin. Sitchin claimed that Sumerian legends contain references to an additional planet in the Solar System, which he called Nibiru. According to Sitchin, Nibiru orbits the Sun with a highly elliptical orbit that brings it close to Earth only every 3,600 years. This, of course, sounds very similar to the idea of Planet 9, which takes between 10,000 and 20,000 years to orbit and could be in a closer orbit to Earth for several thousand years in that time frame. Sitchin linked the planet to the home of the Anunnaki, an alleged extraterrestrial race that supposedly intervened at the dawn of human civilization on Earth. Sitchin's methods and conclusions are widely rejected by the mainstream scientific community. However, his theories also have many supporters. With Nibiru's rise on Earth, catastrophes and upheavals will occur, and many followers of the theory fear a new rise of the Anunnaki, a tyrannical race that allegedly helped create humanity and still controls it today. Scientific research on Planet 9 is far from considering ideas like this or linking the discovery of a celestial body to events on Earth. What is interesting, however, is the fact that both concepts share the idea of a distant and massive body whose orbit goes far beyond known planets. Naturally, it remains to be asked how the Sumerians knew about such a distant planet if, in theory, no planet beyond Saturn could be visible. There are various explanations, some rather simple and some paranormal. If there really existed an extraterrestrial race that visited Earth and somehow had to do with us humans, the Sumerians would have known about this planet directly from the Anunnaki. Several depictions of the sky on cuneiform tablets and Sumerian reliefs prominently show 9 or 10 planets. Other theories suggest that there may have been people with paranormal abilities. American medium Ingo Swann demonstrated several times in the 1970s that it is possible for particularly gifted people to direct their spiritual gaze to any place in the universe using the technique of remote viewing. For example, Swann examined the planet Jupiter and provided science with valuable data long before probes confirmed these results.
These other abilities may have still been widespread among our ancestors, and people saw the solar system in a way that today we can hardly imagine. Of course, the Sumerians could have also seen another planet. Today we might find it fascinating, but if we consider for a moment the dramatic scenarios that have been associated with the appearance of Nibiru, we might conclude that we are in no hurry to discover Planet 9 or Nibiru.
Subscribe to the channel now and join every new video.